Hello everyone, I hope all you are fine. Today we are discussing a new topic, angiosperms. It's a part of plant kingdom. Plant kingdom is classified into two types, cryptogams and phanerogams. Cryptogams which include Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Phanerogams which include gymnosperms and the angiosperms. Okay, so here we are discussing the topic angiosperms. Angiosperm. So this angiosperms comes from the two words, that is angion, A-N-G-I-O-N. Angion means hidden, and the sperma means seed. Okay, that indicates that in angiosperms are seed bearing and flowering plants. So angiosperms are flowering and fruit bearing plants are angiosperms. So the seeds are protected within a fruit and are sporophytic. We discussed gymnosperms. In gymnosperms, the seeds are naked. Naked means the seeds are always exposed. But here the seeds are protected within a fruit and are sporophytic. The plant body is well differentiated into root, stem, leaves and flowers. They have a well developed vascular tissues. Vascular tissues means xylem and the phloem. Okay, so in this angiosperm group, herbs, shrubs and tree forms are present. Hear about Wolffia? The smallest angiosperm is Wolffia. Smallest angiosperm is Wolffia. So which is the tallest one? The tallest one is Eucalyptus. Tallest one, Eucalyptus. So vegetative and sexual mode of reproductions are present in angiosperms. Male sex organ is andrecium and the basic unit is stamen. Stamens, that is stamens, are equal to the microsporophylls. We studied the term microsporophylls in gymnosperm portion. Clear? Then the next is, this is the life cycle of an angiosperm and this is the cross section of a flower. Okay, so the stamen is the male reproductive part. Basic part is stamen. The stamen contains filament, anther lobes and the connective. Filament. So this portion is this is the filament portion. So this one is stamen. So stamen having filament, anther lobe and connective. Anther has microsporangia. Anther contain, so this is an enlarged picture of anther. Anther contain microsporangia. 4 microsporangias are seen inside this anther. So this microsporangia which produce haploid microspore. Haploid microspores are otherwise known as pollen grains. Clear? So stamen is the male reproductive part. Stamen has filament, anther, then connective. Okay, these anthers are connected by connective. When we take the cross section of the anther, we can see microsporangia. Microsporangia produces microspores. Microsporangia produces microspores. Microspores means pollen grains. Okay. The next is female portion. Female sex organ, that is gynecium. Female sex portion, that is gynecium. This one is now enlarged picture of the ovary. Okay. So instead of the microspore, here they contain macrospore. Okay. And the part of the female sex organ, ovary, style and the stigma. Ovary encloses 1 to several ovules and each ovule consisting of female gametophyte. The female gametophyte is otherwise known as embryo sac. Got it? Female sex organ is gynecium. Gynecium shows pistil. That means ovary, style, stigma are present. Ovary encloses ovule. Ovules. Ovules consisting of female gametophyte. Female gametophyte means embryo sac. Okay. So this is about the female structure. Clear? This is the enlarged view of embryo sac, or means structural view of the embryo sac. Embryo sac means female gametophyte. Embryo sac has an egg apparatus towards the micropyle end. Okay. One egg and the two synergids and three antipodal cells and two polar nuclei. These are the structure of the embryo sac. So, here, listen. This end is micropyle end. Opposite to the micropyle end, that is chelasa. Chelasa. So, one end is micropyle end and the another end is the chelasa. Here you can see the central egg cell. The central egg cell is protected by synergids. Okay. And central we can see two polar nuclei. And chelacal end we can see antipodal cell. So the total number of cells here 3, here 2 and here 3. Total number of cells, that is 8. Okay. Two polar nuclei in the center later fuse to form a diploid secondary fusion or diploid secondary nucleus. Through the pollination, the pollen grains are enter into the stigma. Okay. Through the pollen tube, the pollen grains are enter into the micropyle portion. One of the male nucleus fuses with the central egg cell and they form seed. Clear? Next male nucleus fuses with the polar nuclei. So here 2 times the division is occur. That means fertilization is occurs. So this event is known as double fertilization. One male gamete fuses with the egg cell and they form a zygote. Okay, the fusion is known as synchrony. The zygote makes the seed. The next one is the other male gamete fuses with the diploid polar nuclei. So male nucleus is single, haploid, and this one is the diploid one. Okay, so here a triploid n plus 2n condition. So triploid primary endosperm nucleus is forming. Triploid primary endosperm nucleus PEN is forming because of involvement of this 2 fusion. The zygote develops into an embryo and the PEN stands for primary endosperm nucleus. PEN develops into endosperm which provide nourishment to the developing embryo. Suppose we are taking an apple. The fleshy portion that we are eat, that is PEN. PEN means primary endosperm nucleus. The seed, that is zygote. The synergids and the antipodal cells degenerate after fertilization. They assist the process of fertilization. After fertilization, these synergids and the antipodal cells get degenerate. Okay, I hope all you can understand. During these events, the ovule develop into seeds and the ovaries develop into fruit. The life cycle of the angiosperm. The life cycle of the angiosperm is given here. So the angiosperm having male gametophyte and female gametophyte. Okay. Then the divisions occurs and they form seeds. 2 times one male gamete fuses with the egg to produce a diploid zygote. This fusion is called synchrony. Second male gamete fuses with the diploid secondary fusion nucleus to produce a triploid primary endosperm nucleus. This fusion is called triple fusion. Syngamy and triple fusion are collectively known as double fertilization. Zygote develops into embryo and the primary endosperm nucleus into nutritive tissue. That is called endosperm. Primary nutritive tissue, that is called endosperm. Okay. Clear. The fertilized ovule becomes a seed and the ovary develops into fruit. Like the gymnosperms, in angiosperms also the gametophytic stage is highly reduced and is represented by the pollen grain and embryo sac and fully dependent upon the sporophytic plant. Angiosperms are classified into two types, monocotyledons and the dicotyledons. Dicotyledons means the embryo with two cotyledons. Okay. And the reticulate venation have plants have taproot system, etc. Monocotyledons means embryo is with one cotyledon and the leaves shows parallel venation. Okay. So these are the classification of the angiosperm. These are the classification of angiosperm. I hope you can understood the life cycle of angiosperm and also the structure of embryo sac. Next we are discussing the alternation of generation. Alternation of generation means different plant groups exhibit different types of alternation of generation. Okay. Already we discussed this in our life classes. Haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle and the haplodiplontic. Here the predominant phase is 2n. Here it is given 2n and here it is n condition. Okay. So mainly the plant life cycles are classified into three types. Haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle and haplodiplontic life cycle. Here I wrote only one example. Textbook having so many examples and study the all examples. That is very important. Haplontic life cycle means the dominant phase of life cycle is haploid. Okay, haploid means gametophytic. Example for that is Volvox, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas are the examples. Diplontic life cycle means the dominant phase is diploid. Diploid means they are sporophytic. And the haploid stage is restricted only to the gametes exhibited by the seeds bearing angiosperms and the gymnosperm. And in the case of fucus also, diplontic life cycle is present. Okay. Haplodiplontic life cycle. Here the both stages are present and are equally important. Example for this group is Polysiphonia, Ectocarpus, Kelps are the example for the haplodiplontic life cycle. So haplontic life cycle means the dominant phase is haplontic. Haploid, that means gametophytic. Okay. And the diplontic life cycle means the dominant phase is diploid, that means sporophytic. Haplodiplontic means here we are giving the equal importance for the they are giving equal importance for the haplontic life cycle and the diploidic life cycle. Okay. So this is a picture. Haplodiplontic. Haplodiplontic, here it is equally distributed. The two stages are equally distributed in the life cycle of an organism. Then here it is haplontic. So majority of the life cycles are goes to this haplontic life cycle, and here the diplontic majority of the life cycle goes to the diplontic life cycle. So this is about our chapter Plant Kingdom. I hope all you can understand this chapter. So here I am ending my chapter. Thank you.